Stanek presents the penultimate round of the Stanek Group N National Saloon Car Championship for standard cars.
Well, the very exciting Stanek Group N National Saloon Car Series is nearly at an end. This is the fifth round as we come to the East London Grand Prix circuit. The classic circuit, there's 4 kilometres of fast sweeps, heavy braking, a different set of circumstances for the drivers. The other thing that you've got to take into account is the wind. Very strong at times, not too bad today, but it pushes you along the main straight. It also helps with the braking. Now, whereas the Opels won at Velcom, the BMW certainly in practice have come back with a vengeance, and there's going to be some real car wars in this racing today.
And as always, the organiser of the Border Motorsport Club has split the races into 2 separate races for the different classes. This one is for the 2-litre 1600 and 1400 cars, and poleman on the left-hand side, Grant van Schalkwyk, doesn't get a good start. Terry Moss, as you see, goes to the front in the Volkswagen Golf, closely followed by those incredible little Toyotas. Serge Dams is right up there with him. Rodney Tim gets an inside berth as he comes out of there. He's followed closely by Dams, who's coming in from the veld. He gives him a tip and off he goes to the side. Ahead of us we've got Mike White. Here's another view taken from Peter de Val's Uno. You can see Rodney Tim having a big moment there, and there he is at the side of the road. No damage done to the car. It was rolled onto his side, but as they came past on the second lap, this whole traffic jam, Rodney Tim climbed out of the motor car unhurt, and this is almost seen as part and parcel of Stanek Group N Racing, although it is frowned on by other team managers and certainly by the officials at the motor races. But nothing more than a bit of dented pride and a scratched motor car. He's going to be seen back in action late in the afternoon. The leader, Terry Moss, in the Volkswagen Golf GTR, followed by Clintonian John Round. There's those incredible little Toyotas. Serge Dams, who's right up there with him. We're in there with Steve Wyndham. There's Serge Dams ahead of him. Mike White is prominent in this race in the other little Toyota as they make their way up this long straight. Probably one of the it is the longest straight in South African motor racing, with a very fast sweep in the middle, which is called Potter's Pass. And Serge Dams is starting to get away from Wyndham. This is all about slipstreaming. You've got to hang in there. And Terry Moss in the front there is getting away, but Grant van Schalkwyk, the winner of the last 3 races at Velcom and Port Elizabeth, is starting to challenge those 2 Volkswagen Golfs. There's a youngster, he's a privateer, as they go around Cocobana Corner. Could you ever get such a setting for a motor racing circuit? And here's the other battle. Number 40 is Serge Dams, who's closely followed there by Steve Wyndham, both of them Cape Townians. Martinez Breers in the other Golf is not having a happy time. In the 2-litre class, there's Brian Hegan, Derek Irvin in the Albaranti Delta Opel. Here we are back again with Wyndham round this very frightening sweep. Those tyres just looking for a grip. They go up this long straight. And here's another battle going on the 1400 class. Grant McCleary in the front in the Key Delta Opel Cub has been followed all the way by John Kruger, who's never further apart than this, as they slip and slide their way through Cox's and go into the sweep. Kruger's looking for a place to pass, but McCleary hanging on to the front there. Back in again with Wyndham as we approach the brake markers now for Cocobana Corner. Serge Dams on the left-hand side looking for a place to come in. Wyndham's got the inside berth, and Damsu does actually get it through the corner. Brian Heger in the Bosch Golf, it goes straight on there, and he is pushing his chances back there. We're in with Wyndham again as we come along the C straight from Cocobana Corner. There's a kink here, and then they're coming to the S's. He's alongside Serge Damsu. Right alongside him, he's trying to squeeze him out of the way. Doesn't leave enough room. Little bump there, you heard it. And there's another, and he's got to control the car this time. There he is with Damsu going through on the inside. 21 is Martinez Breers, and Damsu's gone back to the front of the 1600cc class. And in the 1400cc class, this battle's gone unabated. Grant McCleary in the Key Delta Cub has got Kruger, the privateer, right in his tail, and that's the way they finish, with Brian Late for MRD Racing just behind them. And the 1600 class, there he is, Serge Damsu winning ahead of Wyndham and Mike White for the Transvaal, and Terry Moss in the Volkswagen taking ahead of John Round and Grant van Schalkwyk in the Opel. Now another 30 cars line up for classes A and D on pole. Against all predictions, Dion Jabir in the Winfield BMW, Michael Briggs alongside him. We're in with Tony Viona. On the right-hand side is Michael Briggs. They're making a sandwich of Briggs as Dion Jabir gets a beautiful start in that Winfield BMW as they go up to Potter's Pass on the first tour. It's Jabir in there first. Briggs takes his chances, goes through the inside, and sneaking past is Roddy Turner from Cape Town, who gets it into third position ahead of Tony Viona. Heavy onto the brakes. Dion Jabir leads round Cocobana on the first tour. Mike Briggs taking a wider line. Turner's in behind him. Then it is Viona, Leon Marais, Hannes Oosthuizen and Jeffrey Goddard from the Transvaal. And the battle continues. We are in with Viona. and Dion Jabez having a torrid time out there. It's wild out there. Viana's trying to take him as well. Turner's been pushed back and he gets a nudge there from Tony Viana. Is that going to put him off? He goes to the left-hand side of the road. Viana sneaks through into third spot, but he's been challenged all the way as they go round the sweep and head up towards the Beacon hairpin. But something's wrong with Viana's car. It's not handling as he'd like it. You can see him starting to work at the steering wheel as he goes up to those brake markers there at Beacon. It's very heavy braking here. Roddy Turner takes a wider line. He doesn't want to be nudged again. He's got to bring it in tight as he gets onto the main straight past the pits. But at all intents and purposes, Tony Viana's race in the Winfield BMW is at an end, and he's taken our onboard camera into the pits with him. In fact, a valve pulled out of the tyre and he's out of the race. It's Michael Briggs in the front. He's been followed by Dion Jabez, still in there, with Roddy Turner snapping at his back bumper. And look how he's trying. Certainly giving the huge crowd that came out to the circuit full value for the money. We're now going at 230 kilometres an hour, sitting alongside Willie Hepburn. He's got Hannes Oosthuizen trying to get past Jeff Goddard, which he does, and Willie Hepburn follows him as they go down through Rifle. Look at that lovely setting for a circuit. They're going down to the brake marks. They've got Leon Maria just ahead of them. Hard onto the brakes. They're snaking all over the roads. You can see they go into Cochabana, and coming out there's Marais, there's Hannes Oosthuizen. Willie Hepburn's got shot of Jeff Goddard, and John Craig in the Grapnel Opal from Cape Town. Along the C straight we go from Cochabana. There's a kink between them, and a little further back in the D class it's Neil Stevens starting to stamp his authority in the race. Ben Morganroot fighting for his points in the Mazdas behind him, and he's been closely followed there by Brian Gilmore, another one of the Works Opals. And just look how close this race has stayed throughout the 8 laps. Michael Briggs in front, Roddy Turner sneaking inside there, Dion Jabez sweating in that Winfield BMW. Lots of battle scars on that motor car as they head along the picturesque straight. And this is going to be the final order in Class A. It's Michael Briggs and Roddy Turner, 1-2 for the Opel Motorsport team. And right on his tail, a very fine drive there by Dion Jabez in the Winfield BMW. But the battles weren't over just behind them. There was a major fight going on. There is Hannes Oosthuizen. He's got Willie Hepburn on his tail with Jeff Goddard. We're in there now with Willie Hepburn as he comes up, and Hannes Oosthuizen. He's taking a very wide line as he comes up to Beacon hairpin. It tightens on you as you come round there. Hannes Oosthuizen getting a bit sideways, feeding on all that power as we start to accelerate upwards of 200 kilometers an hour as you leave the pits. They'll be doing 230, 235 going into Potter's Pass. And he's doing a very clever thing. He keeps close into him as he passes him and uses as much of the wind pressure from Hannes Oosthuizen's car. And he in fact gets in front of him. There's Oosthuizen now going back to 6th position ahead of Goddard. And John Craig, he's also giving Jeff Goddard a doing over as they come through Cox's and going to the sweep. And a little further back in Class D, it's Neil Stevens going on to win it in the Opel Cadet, followed by Brian Gilmore, his teammate, and Ben Morganroot being pushed back to 3rd position in the Mazda. Well, Michael Briggs took Class A, followed by Roddy Turner and Dion Jabez in the BMW. Let's sit alongside Steve Wyndham for the start of the 2nd race for Classes B, C and E. Light turns to green and away we go. Ahead of him he's got Grant van Schalkwyk on the left-hand side. He's got Serge Damser van Schalkwyk getting a disaster start. The Class B Volkswagens are getting away from him as they head for Potter's Pass. Here's Serge Damser trying to take a tighter line. He wants to get that toe from Van Schalkwyk, but Wyndham is starting to move into the picture, right onto his tail. It's Damser on the outside. It's very dicey there as Van Schalkwyk loses and pushes him even further to the side of the road. Along the top straight, heading towards Rifle Bend. Damser wants in, but Wyndham's not letting him through. He's got the jump on him this time as they go down through Rifle and head for the brake markers. And it's a very fast pace up the front. Terry Boss, John Round. Van Schalkwyk has got through to 3rd, and there's Wyndham squeezing out Damser. Mike White just behind them. The little Fiat Uno's in there as well, driven by Peter de Waal as they head along the C straight from Cochabana. And it's the Volkswagens 1-2 starting to shine at the Grand Prix circuit. Terry Moss from Port Elizabeth, John Round from Cape Town, Van Schalkwyk ex-Port Elizabeth now in the Transvaal, and Wyndham is staying ahead there of Serge Damser. And a little further back in the 1400cc class, the ever constant shadow of John Kruger is following Grant McCleary in the Key Delta Cup. As they go around Cox's corner, head down towards the sweep behind them, Brian Late is having a torrid time there with Carl Moller as well. Here's Rodney Tim. He wants to catch up to the B-class cars ahead of him as he gets past Wyndham. You can see the difference in speed between the 2-litre and 1600cc cars. Very fast here. They're doing 210 kilometers an hour as they go down towards Rifle. And the pace is furious. It's really going for one another here. It's Terry Moss, John Round, and Van Schalkwyk's trying for the inside. Bit of crafty braking as he left it too late, as he pushes Round to the outside. Round takes a tighter line on the inside, comes alongside his door, but Van Schalkwyk's got the acceleration along the straight. Terry Moss up the front there is giving a sturdy performance. Van Schalkwyk's into second place, but Round is worrying him all the way, taking tighter lines as they go through Cox's corner. And this big crowd is just loving this motor racing. And we're back in there with Steve Wyndham. Rodney Tim hasn't got away from him, and Wyndham's having a bad time here. He's been challenged by Martinez Breas from the Transvaal in the Golf GTI. That's where he lost it before. He's getting drawn and caught it everywhere around the circuit as Wyndham, but he's staying there ahead of Serge Damsey and Mike White in the other Toyota Conquest in Class C. You can see the difference in performance there as the 2-litre class car gets away from the 1600 Toyota of Steve Wyndham. Very heavy braking as they come up to the Beacon Hill, but still this pace continues in the front. Van Schalkwyk is challenging Terry Moss for the lead, and riding shotgun for the Volkswagen team is John Round for Cape Town. He won the class down at the Killarney circuit. He's got him once again, and he's challenging Terry Moss as well and protecting him. He's coming to the line. Terry Moss is going to win the championship in the class. It's Terry Moss. John Round follows him home, and the privateer Grant Van Schalkwyk. Annis McCleary still leading the 1400 class with that ever-constant shadow of John Kruger just behind. Rodney Tim Jr. from Port Elizabeth, Brian Layton in the MRD Racing, and Carl Moller from Cape Town. But Grant McCleary comes home to win the second race for the day, also to take the national championship in this class, the first competitor in South Africa to have won on 2 wheels and 4 wheels in circuit racing. But once again, back for classes A and D.
Jeff, if I can come in your inside, move to the outside here so that you can get the Opel out here.
And as we sit alongside Tony Viano, we hear their battle plans, how they're going to deal with the other competitors in this class. And due to his retirement from the first race through that puncture, he's had to start right at the back of the grid amongst the D-class cars. Already the pace is hotting up in the front there. Roddy Turner's gone to the front, followed by Michael Briggs in the 2 Opels. Then it's Dion Jabert. Hannes Oosthuizen's in there just behind Leon Marais. Tony Viano's still at the back of that field. He squeezes on the inside of Goddard, so that's worked already. Ahead of him he's got Willie Hepburn, he's got Hannes Oosthuizen. Roddy Turner's leading Michael Briggs, the winner of the first race. Dion Jabert, that ever-present shadow. Leon Marais is riding shotgun. Hannes Oosthuizen, Willie Hepburn, John Craig from Cape Town, and Viana. There's Jeff Goddard following up at the rear of this very competitive field. Very late on the brakes, those back wheels hardly working at all as all the braking's put on there. And then it's Jabert, then it's Leon Marais, and Tony Viana is moving in right onto Willie Hepburn's tail. John Craig and Goddard. We're in with Viana now. Ahead of him lies Hepburn. That's a major problem to get past for starters. Hannes Oosthuizen, there's Hepburn, comes up to try and pass him on the left-hand side. Very heavy on the brakes. Now we're in with Willie Hepburn as Viana goes round the outside of him. He goes very wide, he's trying hard, and there's nothing in it between the speed of these motor cars. He gets the jump on Willie Hepburn. Just listen to Willie Hepburn's gear change, how quick he does it. And Tony Viana's trying some desperate stuff on the right-hand side of the road there. That's not the right line for Potter's Pass as they approach it at 230 kilometers an hour. Oosthuizen is on the outside. He just touches the brakes to set the car up. It's a real kamikaze line as Oosthuizen goes in behind him. Still the orders, Roddy Turner, Michael Briggs and Dion Jabert at the front of the field, followed by Leon Marais and Viana coming into the picture. He's now got shot of Willie Hepburn and Oosthuizen and is lining the others up. Then comes John Craig just behind them. And here's the D-class battle going on. Neil Stevens has got them a lot closer this time. Brian Gilmore's looking after his tail. There's Ben Morgan, who's having a bad time with those Opel Cadets. But back to Viana's drive up through the field as he comes up on Leon Marais on Beacon Corner. Marais very early on the brakes. Viana smacks him in the tail there. They have to take a few seconds to get their composure back. And Marais now sweeps across his bows. And you can see the legs of that Opel as he starts down that long straight. But Viana is intent on improving his position. But back in front, Dion Jabert's now past Michael Briggs. There's Marais, and Tony Viana's lining him up once again. Late on the brakes again, Marais locks the wheels. Viana's through on the inside, and Michael Briggs is having a moment just ahead of them as they go into the final stages of this race. He's now lying in 4th position. Ahead of him lies that 3rd position spot, and Viana is improving his chances all the time. He gets past him with almost relative ease, and that's going to be the final order. It's Roddy Turner to win it ahead of Dion Jabert. Tony Viana gets that 3rd position. then it's Leon Marais, and Michael Riggs, for some reason, going back into 5th spot. And in the Class D, Neil Stevens makes a double for the day. Brian Gilmore follows him home, and Kurt Elchin nearly takes away 3rd place honours from Ben Morgenrud. So let's have a look at the results for the day. Roddy Turner's win gave him the overall position for the day ahead of Dion Jabir in the BMW, but Michael Briggs' win in the first race was enough to give him the title once again in Class A for the year. In Class B, 2 wins, Terry Moss winning for the day in the Volkswagen Golf and also taking the championship. And then it was all Toyotas in Class C, and it's now wide open thanks to Steve Wyndham's performance, so that title is going to be resolved in the last round at Kyalami. Also going to the final race is the Class D battle with Neil Stevens slightly ahead of Ben Morgenrud in his Mazda. And in Class E, Grant McCleary's 2 wins ahead of John Kruger gave him the 1400 class and the championship. The final round of the Stanley Group N National Saloon Car Championship is going to be at Kyalami on Saturday, the 27th of October.